Hello, this is Dr. Von Hansen from Washburn University. I'm here to talk to you about this year's KMEA Timpani audition. A few of the things that I'm going to focus on are muffling and this cross-sticking, and there's a couple stickings that I do a little different that I'll point out here. The first thing is muffling. It's up to the performer how much you want to muffle. You need to at least muffle these rests at the top, but I actually muffle between each note at the top to have some clarity between each of these, and this is actually the hardest thing for me on this whole piece is these first two lines, which is the easiest music, but if you put in the muffling, it can be kind of a challenge because you have to play one drum and then dampen one while you play the other. If this whole thing is too much for you, I would just muffle that beat 4, and I would muffle the last two drums you play. And with our muffling, we want to try the best we can to not hear the hand sound. To keep from getting too much sound, we just press a little bit less. So it's not like we're striking the drum. It's like we're kind of petting the drum, almost pulled down a little bit. But also, it's important where you're dampening, and that will help. Because if I press in the middle of the drum, it keeps ringing. If I press too close to the edge, it keeps ringing. So what we're going to do is we're going to play right in the same place as our striking spot. We're going to muffle. And that cuts it out the most efficiently. If you do want to do the muffling between every note as I was in my performance, here's an exercise to practice that. All you're going to do is you're going to do quarter notes back and forth between these hands. Just start on the middle two drums so we don't have to get crazy. And now you're going to muffle this drum as you hit the other drum. What I had the most trouble with here is as we're moving, you have to switch which hand is muffling, so sometimes you muffle two right hands in a row and then you have to go back and forth. And so my brain is thinking about, well, which hand needs to dampen when, and so then you'll accidentally get and you'll dampen really early before you play the other drum. We really don't want to dampen the drum until the other drum has sounded. As I am dampening here, I am keeping my pointer finger and my thumb on the stick, and it's also kind of pressed up against the back of my palm here, so I don't get these clicks. But we have to move around so quick, I don't want to lose the control of my mallet for my next note. So I am keeping my front finger and my thumb on the stick and using the back three to muffle in the beating spot. The next thing I'm going to talk about is articulation. There's a lot of quick notes within this, and these are big, ringy drums, and it's hard to get all of the notes to speak without it being a mumbly feel. So to do that, I'm gripping a little bit more with the back of my fingers, not the whole hand. If I do the whole hand, I get real Frankenstein army. So the stick responds to my hand a little bit more. If you watch my snare drum video, you'll see I do this when I play soft as well. So we have a little bit more stick response to our hands. So as I'm playing the third line, I'm gripping down a little bit more, moving a little bit quicker to get that articulation. We have some places in here where I feel we have to do cross-sticking. I am very much a doubles player where I try to play doubles instead of cross-sticking if I can, but the way the rhythm is written in measure 11, 13, and 14, I can't find a good double. I have to do triples, and at this tempo, I find that unclear. So to do that, I need to make sure that I'm still making good contact with the drum. The worst thing in cross-sticking is as we cross, people come too high, and then you're poking down at the drum, and you're using the front end instead of this sound. We get this sound, which is thuddy and does not have the articulation of the wooden ball that's usually underneath our felt here on the mallet. So in order to do that, we need to keep our hands low. I am actually trying to brush my hands against each other as I do that. Try not to get those rim clicks. To practice cross sticking, I'm going to just do it real slow, and I'm going to work on getting my lift of my mallets up and get my hands crossing here. So it's kind of difficult to get to this low drum, so I'm going to start out just by going to drum 3 here. Notice my left hand does not move. My right hand's just coming over the top. Now to get to that low drum, instead of crossing up my wrist, I'm kind of crossing up my forearm a little bit more to get over there. Sometimes I have to lean back a little bit. A few of the hardest bars for me on this are 33 through 35, just for the sake of the counting and the speed here. The thing that makes it difficult is the downbeat switches from right to left to right between these bars. So you really have to concentrate and count 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1 is what I'm focusing on. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And the big thing is that theme, 3, 1. Getting that theme there at the end. So I want to make sure that that speaks, right? It's just kind of a big flurry, blah, bom, bom. We want to make sure we have that cadence point that we've had throughout this whole piece so far. Something to watch out for in 37 through 48 is it never tells you to flip your stick over at 37. You just see in 48 it says right stick with felt. If you go to page 3, the page before the exercise, and read what Vic Firth has to say, which you should because he has a lot to say about the piece he wrote, he tells you that you're flipping your stick over there. It just looks like there was a misprint and they forgot to put in to tell you to flip your stick at 37. So at 37, the right stick should be backwards, and so you're playing the high drum with the back of the stick while doing this ostinato eighth note thing on the left hand. It's going to be a little bit louder over here, so you want to make sure to play it a little bit softer with the back of your mallet so we can hear this ostinato pattern. Make sure you play with a lot of articulation. I play this just like I play a ride cymbal pattern, with some back fingers, getting that moving, keeping it light, not arm. It's basically all fingers for me in that section. A tricky rhythm in this is measure 63, that second beat. The 32nd note starts on the E, or the second 16th note of that beat, so it can be difficult to think about how to count that. It's almost like a rough to the 4th 16th note, the before we go to that downbeat. But in my mind, I'm thinking 1 and E and a 1. 1 and E and a 1. So I'm just going E and 1 and E and a 1. E and a 1. And I'm actually, though, there's an accent down here. The tonic, the main note of this piece is on the C. So even though I have an accent there, I'm going to the C and getting back to home base before we do a recap of the top here at 64. One place that I do doubles instead of across is measure 74 and 76. So I didn't want to come across to the low drum here if I didn't have to, because it's hard. We have to cross at the forearm. My sticking is left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, roll. Okay, so I'm doing a double between the C and the E. And that helps me get around that a lot easier. I also have a double sticking in measure 73 on those triplets. I do a left, right, right, left, right, right. Gets me down to my left hand so I can have that left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left in my triplets in 78. So those two stickings really help that out. The last thing is just making sure that you can play with a good full sound at pianissimo. We don't want it to be... We still need to hear, it is 3 Ps, but we want to hear some tone, we want to hear some pitch. And be real musical about how long you let that last note play. Don't just go dum, da-dum, dum, and I'm done, and I move my body. You need to sell it as a musician. Even though they're not going to see you, they can hear that. Dun, da-dum, bum. Let it ring in the room. Then you're done, right? Let that have its time. Hopefully these techniques help you prepare for the excerpts this year. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at vaughn.hansen@washburn.edu. Thank you.